Good afternoon, this warm afternoon. I'm very sure you've had a very wonderful day. This is your program, The Nexus, the program that provides clarity with the intent of finding a solution. Today we shall be discussing the ups and downs in Kogi State. Kogi State is one of the states on the lips of all Nigerians because of the November 2nd election 2019. Today I have in the studio someone who would speak to the Kogi State, a former NFF chairman, and also an aspirant in the forthcoming election in Kogi State. In person of Alhaj Sani Lulu Abdullah, welcome to the studio, sir.
Thank you, my dear brother. It's a privilege being here.
Thank you very much. I'm very sure we have a very interesting section, and I'm very sure you will also have a very interesting section. Your name resonates in the minds of Nigerians when we mention NFF. Do we have more things to this name, Sani Lulu, except from football and basketball and other sports? In short, who is Sani Lulu?
Thank you very much. I'm Sani Lulu Abdullah.
Yes, sir.
And I'm a professional quantity surveyor, a fellow of the Institute.
A graduate from ABU.
A graduate from ABU. And I have served as a result of my professional background as a quantity surveyor in Federal Capital Development Authority from 1981 to 2004, where I rose to be Assistant Director, quantity surveying. And it's from there I was also really privileged because of my hobby, my interest in development of sports in the territory from its inception in 1981. That I was privileged to be given an appointment by the then Minister of FCT, Malam Nasiru El-Rufai. He made me the Director of Sports, FCT. And we did our best to transform FCT Sports to the state it was when I left for NFF as its president.
So it was your successes in Abuja that made you got the appointment at the national level?
Well, certainly those who know me knows that I have been a grassroots man all through my life, right from school. I'm quite passionate about sports programs. I'm not a sports career officer, but I derive joy because I'm a footballer of helping the needy with my little resources which I get from my parents. And I've grown through giving this type of service to the society. And God has always, if you give to the society, basically Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a way of rewarding you. And I've always been rewarded by the little I've gone in doing to the service.
Givers never lack.
Givers never lack. So I am privileged based on all that I've done. And those who know me, they always identify me to say, you are a professional QS, but you're also a sportsman. So I've risen through the rank to be serving in this sport capacity. And I think God has blessed me tremendously in rising to these various positions.
Wonderful. So, except from your education, background, and your appointments, if you're asked to describe yourself in terms of your attributes, what attributes would you ascribe to yourself?
Well, my background clearly shows that I love to be a patriot. I love my society, I love my country, and I want to give my best all the time to the society that needs my help. And so you could see, simply, I am giving services to the less privileged in the society in all that I do.
Let me go to my next question now. What are you eyeing? What is your business with November 2nd, 2019?
Maybe November 16, 2019. It's been changed to that November 16.
Thanks.
Well, with all the records of service in my life, it is obvious Kogi State needs transformation. We need to be involved in developing the state. And there are clarion calls from the people that people like us should come in and support the development.
People like us?
People like us, yes. Because
that means not just you?
Yes, it's not. I'm not the only contestant now, so I believe other people to have similar calls. But my own is ordained by God that I should come in and do it. Because you can see the sign.
Lots of people ascribe God to their aspirations. If I ask all these other contestants also, they will tell me they got this sign from God. And also the governor that is there, Governor Yahya Bello, would also tell us that he got a signal from God, a beacon from God to contest.
Anything you do in life, if you are faithful to God, you must always credit God for that result. I have always been successful in life, not because I'm the best, but because God has always ordained me to be where I was. And now I'm having a sign that God is also trying to ordain me to come and help and salvage the situation in my state. Other people may have that calling, but I think mine is calling me from God Almighty. And taking into consideration what is my background, I think the people need this change now, and I'm so committed to giving them this change.
Wonderful. You've mentioned the word transformation. Transformation implies leaving something to go to something better. So what you're saying is that what is currently unfolding in Kogi State is not sufficient for merriment?
Well, we're in politics together. We're in historical presentation of what is happening in the country. And what is happening in Kogi is not news. There are a lot of speculations. And I think Nigerians...
And I hope we won't be judging on the basis of speculations.
Well, one very important speculation, you know, we saw it on the pages of newspapers, we saw in the news when two groups of people went to protest. One talked about supporting the governor for paying salaries as at when due. Another group saying they have not been paid for so many months past. And you saw the drama that happened in the APC. That is clear testimony that something is happening. And on that basis, I think we are having a feelers that there's something wrong. I sincerely believe that there are a lot of speculation, paid advertorials, and there are responses to these advertorials. People like us that have served in public service can put 1 + 1 to know exactly what is happening.
So what is the problem in Kogi State?
Sincerely very, very disturbed.
Specifically, what are the problems in Kogi State currently?
The yardstick for assessing any organization or any government structure is to say you have budget. And the budget, as approved and released, did you really execute this job in accordance with the budget? And the platform, the yardstick is to confirm has this money be executed based on the budgetary allocations. And there's remuneration or there's staff salaries that is always reflected in the budget. Are we paying as at when due? Are you paying all the staff? Staff are saying they are not being paid. So if they are not being paid, then there's something wrong. Where was the money diverted to? Because the people are reflected in the current expenditures.
So the boom back of your campaign is the non-payment of salary by this current government.
That is part of the expectations. The salary structure and the pensioner non-payment. And we're also talking about the project. You saw they said there was a project that was awarded by his predecessor, 1.8 billion. It is not executed, but it was advanced. So definitely the contractor should have done something.
I heard a clarification from Governor Yahya Bello himself on this particular project that Dino Melaye maintained that a part of the money had been paid by Wada, the former governor. And he made the clarification that when he became a governor, he discovered that the overhead bridge that particular amount of money was awarded for is not necessary in that place. And he rechanneled it. He called those people, the contractors, and they rechanneled it to another road that we've seen the completion. So his position was the person who made the allegation didn't get the right information.
Brilliant. As I said, we are subjects. We are followers. We can't easily fault the government if they make a pronouncement like this. But what is very important is you cannot easily rechannel a budgeted fund into another project with environment. The environment must be reapproved by the structure. And part of the structure is the legislative arm of government. So if you are channeling that money to a project, then basically I'm sure if the governor is talking like that, he must have gotten those details that, yes, the assembly did that endorsement of...
He maintained he got the approval in his position. He maintained
this
he got the
amount of
approval.
details, but what I'm saying is this is not a news that was available to the public. It was not in the public domain before
before he
Senator
took
Dino
the
brought that issue up.
gave. So maybe we would say we should try as much as possible to investigate things
Brilliant.
before we bring them to the public domain.
Brilliant.
So now you've mentioned the issue of salary. The Kogi State. Now I'm coming to how you are going to bring something new to the table. We've known that the Kogi State was one of the poorest states in terms of internal generated revenue in the country. And during the tenure of Governor Yahya Bello, it has moved from the 33rd in the country to the 20th state in terms of internal generated revenue. It moved from 350 million naira per month to close to a billion naira per month. So this is an initiative from Yahya Bello. Would you applaud him on this?
Certainly, the increment is a sign of great effort by the state government. We must commend him. If it was what you've stated is the fact, basically there's an increment. And everybody who is coming to improve what his predecessor have done.
Aha.
So we must applaud him for what he has done. But it is the transparency in the utilization of the funds that is most important.
Now I'm trying to build a premise for a question I would ask now. When on this particular platform, the Nexus, we had the senator-elect from Kogi State, Yakubu Sani, who was the chairman of the Kogi State internal generated revenue for the span of 4 years with Governor Yahya Bello. He maintained that one of the reasons why they've not been able to pay a full salary is because of the deficiency in fund. They do not have enough money to pay this particular people that are working. So in which way are you intending to get more money in order to be able to pay those people who are sweating every day to earn a living?
Well, the distinguished senator is an authority, and he has spoken from what you've said. But I always kept imagining that the little you have, you can use it to manage your affairs properly. If you watch what happened to me in Nigerian Football Federation, there was no money in the system when I came. There was a debt of almost 300 million naira in that small organization. And the responsibility was vested in me to making sure that I moved the system forward. And those who knew what happened at the time of my expiration of my tenure know that I left about 2.8 billion that you can never see in terms of quantum and relationship with what we saw. It's unique. And basically, you are in a place where you say there's no money. But I believe that they will say, people are speculating that there was a bailout fund, there was Paris remittances, and all these things are geared towards alleviating and supporting these programs. So there must be priority. In my own system, anywhere I work, number one priority is the staff salary. Because it's a monthly amendment. If they are not comfortable, you cannot move forward. And if this thing is provided for in the budget, then you must get solution to it. You can't buy the money for another project.
So you are saying the top priority for Sani Lulu in Kogi State is the payment of salaries.
If you want to get any result in any society, in any system, those you are using to have a primary foundation to development must be settled. And that is the workforce. If the workforce is quite bloated in the system, then you reduce.
So salary payment will be your top priority?
Certainly in any responsible organization, you don't owe staff.
Wonderful.
And as a public servant, I have said all my life, they are prompt in paying and stuff. So if I get into an organization, I should be thinking about, first of all, who are those who are making me get results? So if I'm going to get results as I'm planning, then I must make sure I recognize those who are supporting the system.
So now I want you to go into specifics. How do you intend to... Now, bailout fund was just an exception. It was just an exception that they got a bailout fund from the federal government. How do you intend to source for money from Kogi State itself to boost your internal generated revenue? Because we've learned that the thing the current government leveraged on was taxation, reducing costs and other things. What are you going to do to increase the internal generated revenue?
There are most various areas where we can think about the sources. The most important thing going on here, we have mineral resources that are even operating fully. There is cement, there is iron ore. There are so many things that are even, the place is one of the most fertile places for mineral resources in Kogi State, in the country. And as far as I'm concerned, there's something very unique that is historical about Kogi. And that's why the place is called the Confluence State. So what is the meaning of this Confluence State? Why are we not tapping the gift God has given us?
Maybe you should just...
Listen. The Confluence State is where you can say converging. And what is this convergence? Two very important rivers are meeting. And that place is a unique place.
I love the point we are at now. I have to go on a break now.
Yes.
When we come back, the Kogi is a confluent state, so it implies lots of natural resources and lots of things in the soil. So the state encapsulates a lot of things. We would be unraveling some of these particular mineral resources and other things we have in the state when we come back from this break. Do not forget the Nexus providing clarity. Welcome back again. It's still your program, The Nexus. We are discussing the ups and downs in Kogi State. And in the studio, in the Nexus studio today, is Alhaji Sani Lulu, a former Abdullahi, a former NFF chairman, and also an aspirant in the 16th of November governorship or gubernatorial election in Kogi State. Thanks for remaining in the studio, sir.
Thank you, my dear.
You were trying to tell us some of the things you are going to tap from when you become a governor, if you become a governor, to boost the internal generated revenue in the state.
Yes, just like I said, it's a confluence state. And historically, if we go closely again from what we have benefited, it's meant to be like the capital of Nigeria in those days. So what is it we're going to use to attract not only the world bodies, but investors? So that area is area where we can bring in a lot of tourist attraction area. And in the course of doing this, there are other things you do to show that that place is truly a tourist.
So what are the tourist attraction area in Kogi State?
The most important is, the point where the two rivers meet.
Yes.
That's one very important area. Historically, the British, Ajayi Crowther, is it Ajayi Crowther?
The Ajayi Mongo Park?
No.
Ajayi Crowther translated the Bible.
The churchman. That's Ajayi Crowther now.
Yes, Ajayi Crowther.
He was buried in Lokoja now. Is it Lokoja? He was buried in Lokoja. You see that cemetery, that small cemetery?
Yes.
Around the church area.
Yes.
So these are historical things that you can look into. There are so many other historical landmarks in Kogi State. But the most important thing is that river area, waterways, the beach can be developed upon. Prince Audu he tried to do something like that, and that was why he was concentrating on Confluence Hotel. Kogi need a very big 5-star hotel. And you need to create an enabling environment for people to appreciate that is the good things God has created for this country through that place. Just like we're saying, that is this homeland of mineral resources in the country. The ground through the land is very fertile for agricultural programs. So
you are going into agriculture, yes. You are going into tourism.
Yes, and industrialization.
How do you intend to industrialize Kogi State?
When you have to, not you as a government doing it, you are creating an enabling environment for private sector participation. Dangote is already operating. There are some other people who are even in ceramic production in Ajakuta there, around there. Even the Ajakuta steel mill is federal government, but all you need to do is to put pressure on federal government to say that place should not be left dormant for too long.
So you believe all the past administrations, they've not been putting enough pressure?
Well, the pressure is a continuity. The government, no matter what happens, they've done their best. All we need is to dust.
So in terms of security, how would you assess Yahya Bello? Yahya Bello has distributed 500 motorcycles to 21 local governments in that particular state. And now we can say we have a relative peace. Would you say we have a relative peace in the state?
Well, it depends on the platform which you are talking. Basically, it is not relatively peaceful yet because we see pockets of kidnapping.
You've just used the word pocket. That means it's not
large. But if it's still continuous, you can't say peaceful.
So we can say it is relatively peaceful. That means not conclusively peaceful.
It appears it's improving, yes, no problem.
So you will score him. What would you score him in terms of security?
He's done as much as others have done.
I love that aphorism. He has done as much as others has done, so there's nothing extraordinary in what he has done.
I think so. I think so. He's tried. He's tried. He keeps the tempo as high as before. Everybody is concerned. Everybody who is a leader should be concerned about security. And I think he's also not unconcerned about security.
I can see you are not only a philanthropist, you are also a politician with your choice of words. So now, you've told us why you are vying, you've told us some particular issues you hope to solve when you possibly become the governor. But the person you are contesting against is a sitting governor, so you have to unseat this sitting governor even in the primary. How do you hope to achieve this?
There is nothing that is difficult before God.
God won't vote.
I am sure what happened by him coming to power, you should see clearly the sign of God involvement. God doesn't vote, but the ultimate result you will see clearly that there is influence from somewhere. And God does it in different ways. I sincerely believe that power of incumbency is a great advantage for him. But at the appropriate time, if we put our cards on the ground and it is obvious that there must be a change, I'm sure even His Excellency, the Governor of Kogi, will be looking for me too.
We'll be looking for you.
I am sincerely very sure that
you vested lots of trust.
I'm going to be partner with all the people of Kogi State.
You've been mentioning God, and God. Is emergence, Governor Yahya Bello's emergence to become the governor in Kogi State, has it not shown that he's a man favored by God himself?
As far as I'm concerned, he was favored by God. That was why I got it.
So are you not scared that he would also receive such favor again?
Well, all of us are now giving ourselves a try, and we're having reasons why we are having an advantage over the incumbent. We're having reasons. Because I have done so much, and I believe all that is happening, without resources, I can even develop, I can render services because God has used me to do it before. So
I think Kogites, like you called them just now, would know without resources. Yes. You said you can still deliver.
But there is resources now.
No.
Without resources, I've delivered.
Even now, they don't have much resources now.
Yes. So with the little resources we are going to have in the state, I will definitely use my own power of intellect based on what I have done to satisfy the people in getting better results based on the available resources. So
what I now want is a breakdown of how you intend to achieve this. Because it sounds utopian.
The breakdown is very clear and it's very simple. I don't want to say I will execute all the projects because the projects must be tied down to financial implications.
Yes.
But I will do all the projects based on my prioritization of the needs of the people.
So what are your priorities?
And the available resources will be utilized.
What are your priorities?
If we have to get results, but people must be fully educated. So education should be a priority. The healthcare facility for the people, because they must be happy all the time to deliver what I want to give them. So education, health programs, and I can easily do this because I'm a youth man, I'm a sportsman. I have to get all these people to even eradicate health programs, health problems. You make the people go for rehabilitation center. You make them create recreational facilities for them. So we let emphasis on sports facilities, avail it to them because they should be looking focused in giving their best all the time. Somebody who is healthy would love to go for education. Person who is happy would love to be treated.
You've mentioned just 3 things now: education, healthcare, sport, and which other?
Basically, as I said, Kogi is self-sustaining, and we have the fertile land. So why do we not talk about agricultural programs? Even there are a lot of fertile areas in Kogi that can produce rice, cassava. These are all things that if we package our act with the little resources we have, we can be very productive. Even infrastructural programs, you can't succeed in developing the state. You can't succeed in rendering all these other services if you don't have infrastructure. Infrastructure is not only road, infrastructure is also you need adequate water, you need adequate powers. But I'm not going to say you provide all of them.
But you can't go into power.
It's segmented.
As a state, power resides in the exclusive legislative list.
the issue is our responsibility, just like I talk about Ajakuta. Ajakuta is federal government. So the most important thing is that we are in need of development in our area. All we have to do is to keep appealing and strategizing on the best way to reach out to government to see reasons why they must concern themselves about this development. And I think when you talk about next level of development, creating work, manpower for people. And that is what the president is trying to address. So we can tell him why that Ajakuta Steel is very cardinal to that.
So you won't allow Governor Yahya Bello to go for his own next level?
The people will decide. The people will decide, but just like I kept saying, I am coming out because I want to give my best. I believe Kogi has all it needs to take them to the next level and be one of the best states in the country.
Like, lots of people, they've opined that the primaries in political parties is always the battle with the person that has the biggest pocket. And now you want to contest against someone who is a sitting governor. And before he became a sitting governor, he was said to be stupendously wealthy. How do you aim to win the primary contest with Governor Yahya Bello?
My brother, this is a very shocking revelation. Have you ever seen one of the major reasons why I'm so comforted, and I believe that God is really charting a course for me? Have you ever seen where disabled is sponsoring a candidate? Disabled called me to my village, to my whole town, Ida, and they said they love me. They believe I can do this job. And they are coming, they did a sticker for me, car sticker, which is all over the place on my car now. The rich men are not looking for me. But the less privileged in the society, which are the people we are coming to serve, are already talking tough. I am coming to serve Kogi people. But and by special grace of God, this sign that God has shown me gives me an impression that the masses are for me. So it's going to be very simple for the big ones to also say, no option but to join.
Aha, because I was coming to that. The masses won't vote in your primaries.
It doesn't matter. God is already showing sign to the people. And he's showing sign to the big people who have the money too. That please, they should also join the bandwagon. It's God's work. I'm not coming here because I want to say I'm coming to God knows I'm not coming to steal anybody's money. I've never stolen. Go check what happened in the Nigerian Football Federation. So I'm not going to invest my billions if they say I have it. I'm not going to invest a dime. And that is a sign the less privileged people have shown me. Don't invest your money. We are starting from the poorest level. And please, we will spend because we have time to check you, what you are doing. So transparently, I will serve and carry along the populace as I'm serving. So it's an accountable system I'm going to run. And that is all my life. Anybody who knows me, I don't want to say...
So you will be running your primary now on the basis of the assumption that some people will buy in, not with a pragmatic...
I am taking this assignment serious because I believe everyone from the highest level to the lowest level will key into this program to make sure God's work is done properly. I don't know how they are going to do it, but that is the sign I have. It's not this election in Kogi is not going to be a monetary matter. Anybody who is talking about money, no, it will not work.
Even in the primaries?
It will not, at whatever level, it will not work. And remember, anybody who watches me, you've told me before, I say, my role model is Buhari, because he's fighting corruption and he's so passionate about it. And anybody who knows me knows that this is what I've done at all my levels. Thank
God you just mentioned Buhari. In my third segment, which will be the last segment of the program, I'll be interrogating you concerning some things about the president. This is the Nexus providing clarity. We'll be going on very short break. And when we come back, the person seated beside me here, Alhaji Sani Lulu, a former NFF chairman, has maintained in some interviews before this that his role model is President Muhammadu Buhari. And we know that the current Kogi State governor is very close to the president. So we will have some interrogations on the basis of that. This is the Nexus providing clarity. Welcome again to the last segment of today's episode. In the studio with me is the former president of the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, and currently an aspirant in Kogi State gubernatorial election. He has been providing lots of information about his agenda and other things we need to know about this current administration and what he hopes to change with his transformational agenda come 2020 or towards the tail end of 2019. Thanks for being in the studio with me so far.
Thank you, my dear.
Aha, you've mentioned, you were speaking about President Muhammadu Buhari. I read that at the time you petitioned the National Working Committee of the APC on why they shouldn't pick Governor Yahya Bello as their candidate in this forthcoming election. Can you tell us some things about what the petition was all about?
Me petitioning? I can't petition. Why should I petition? Petition against Yahya Bello? Why should I petition? There's no reason for that. I'm a contestant. So if I'm doing petitioning, that means from an advantage position against my colleague.
So you do not have an advice? You do not have any advice for the National Working Committee that you should be picked instead of Yahya Bello?
No, there's no reason. It's a contestant, I'm a contestant. And I don't think the National Working Committee would want to say they want to pick because they are father to all. So they want the best to emerge. But I know the other criteria they take into consideration.
Wonderful.
But I have not actually...
You've maintained that President Muhammadu Buhari is your role model. And we've always seen Governor Yahya Bello with President Muhammadu Buhari virtually all the time. Are you not scared that your role model might put his support towards Governor Yahya Bello?
Let me say it again. In the capacity which our dear governor was operating, he has no option but to be very close to the president. The president is the father of all, and his first level of children are the governors. So every governor that is saying, my father is the governor, the president, is right. I'm also saying, I've not had the opportunity of seeing the president, but I'm saying he's my father too. He's a father to all Nigerians. And you can see the sincerity. The president is not biased. You cannot see, he doesn't talk favorably to anybody. If we are complaining, let's go to the field and complain. I want to believe that we should not misconstrue those comments as something that can frustrate any individual who wants to aspire to serve. If I serve my state, the credit goes to Mr. President because he gave me an enabling environment to contest. And the president will want to see, as he's operating with fairness, as he's fighting corruption, he's addressing on the best way to eradicate corruption. He is searching for people who come in to support his case. It's not only him fighting corruption. He wants everybody, all the governors to fight corruption just like he's doing. So I'm sure one of my major reasons is to come and address this issue and how to take Nigeria and to Kogi State to the next level. I think if we succeed and the president sees that he has a good governor in my person, why won't he be appreciated that he's already getting this result based on the dream and vision he had before he came to become a president?
So there's nothing to scare you in his closeness?
No. Every governor must be given credit. Every governor has always talked positively about the president. It is we, the masses, that are saying that president is our role model because we don't have the opportunity of seeing him. Once I become a governor by the grace of God, I should be saying, president is my father. In fact, I will even sing more praises because before I came there, he was my role model. So when I come there now, I say it's double barrel. Abi?
Some people would say the way you are glorifying the president, you are also looking for his support from him.
The support is coming from Nigeria, and the president is leading Nigeria. So if it comes from him, but I wouldn't want to say it's coming from him because he will not be partial in selecting somebody. He's the father of all. He should give an enabling environment for all contestants. So I believe the president will give all of us the enabling environment, irrespective of those who are closer to him, like the governor.
Wonderful. Now we'll go to one of my last questions. We know that the President Muhammadu Buhari, in his 2015 campaign, rode on the horse of anti-corruption, security, and economy, 3 agenda. Now he's coming with 5 agenda. Do you have anything like this? 6 agenda, 7 agenda, 10 agenda, 1 agenda?
In the first instance, I am contesting on the platform of APC. And my primary responsibility is to be loyal to the party. So
Not to the people.
loyal to the party. The people have chosen the party. So first of all, they have chosen the party because of their agenda. So I am coming to say we will deliver.
So you are saying it's not a context of personalities, it's a context of between parties.
In an ideal situation, it is the party agenda that works first, because you are being chosen because you sold a beautiful agenda. And I am saying this agenda, which the president wants to go into the next level with, will definitely be guided by those contents. There are other details that may come in as a result of my own concept of life.
Yes.
But I'm not going to derail
From what the party, has.
I'm not going to derail. So all the contents of what is contained in the party, if I have to make my party proud of me and singing the praises of me and recommending me for a better project, I must tell them that I am loyal.
Then why should we push Governor Yahya Bello away? Since, why do you seek to take over from him? Since the party already has this outlined agenda that you can just follow. Anybody can just follow these agendas.
This is internal politics now. It is left for the people to say, yes, we gave you the mandate to go and do what the party says. But somehow, we're not completely comfortable with the way you performed. But the stakeholders, the voters, will talk. So they put your scorecard. The first region, there were 3 agendas. How far did you do well? You talked about security. They can score him. Okay, yes, he tried. He sustained it.
Score him.
No, I'm not the one now. I'm not going to be a voter. But I'm telling you the stakeholder, how they take.
You're also a voter.
No.
You're an aspirant and also a voter.
No, what I'm saying, if you are talking about indirect or direct, I may not be the voter. I may be the voter in the indirect. But in the indirect, maybe they are the registered members. So, but what I'm trying to say in a very simple note is that.
So I want you to do a bit of, even if you are not being specific with numbers, yes, like 50%. In terms of security, what would you give Governor Yahya Bello?
I say just like his predecessors have done.
So we can say we give him 50%.
If you score them 50%, he scores 50%.
In anti-corruption, because he has been able to downstride the issue of ghost workers and a host of other things. So what would you give him?
That is now a very simple answer, because people are saying he's not paying salaries. So if he's not paying salaries, why am I scoring him something above 50? I've told you earlier.
So not paying salary is corrupt.
No,
it's corruption on its own.
The people the money was provided for him in the budget. So if the money is not being utilized in settling the people, then there's something wrong. Why are you not?
According to him, he's saying the money is not enough. That is why he has gone to a percentage salary scheme, where they pay some people 50%, some people 35%, like that.
You know, I have had the opportunity of serving in government. And every year before you go into the new year, there's meant to be a budgetary provision.
Allocation.
And that allocation is based on what you need. If the money is grossly inadequate to execute some project, then you suspend some project.
Aha! I think now...
you are going to start the new year based on a defined scope of work you are going to do.
I think now, because when I had Senator-elect Yakubu Sani, he mentioned that paying salary is a priority, but not the topmost priority, because the population of those receiving salary from the state is less than 3%. So the entire allocation you get from federal government, how can you use it in servicing just 3%, a microcosm of the entire population? So what are you saying? All other projects should be suspended and we should just face salary alone. If what the money is sufficient to do alone is just the payment of the salary.
You know, there's a danger in all that we are saying, and I think all of us, the citizens, all of us should be very cautious. Nobody should come and give us a wrong impression of what we are going through. If we don't have money, why recruiting? If you don't have money, why commence the project you are embarking on? And I'm saying, you cannot do this project without your workforce. If you are not paying the workforce, in fact, all those projects will crash. And so it's an unthinkable option for you to say you are anybody who is working. You are working in an organization. and you know what you are doing. You pay salary, you pay transport to come to this place. There are so many things you need to eat, you need to feed, there are a lot of people who are dependent on you. And you come in here, you are not being owed. If you are not being paid and you are coming here to work here, then you are shortchanging, you are doing a lot of terrible negative things in this organization. So my priority as somebody who has served in the civil service, a successful person, I think if we are working, all I have to do is to do staff, maybe restructuring. If we don't have enough money, we say this money cannot accommodate. Can we know the appropriate staff we need to embark on this workforce?
Then you send some people home.
As far as I'm concerned, I told you I'm going to agricultural programs. Everybody can be retrained to be relevant in a field. So why can't we say we send them, for instance, let them go and train them a little while for 1 month, 2 months, and then they become relevant in the agricultural environment, and then we have them a target. They must produce because they are working under supervisors, even if you are a graduate. But there are a lot of options. People will never be left because the government is talking about need to employ more hands, need to encourage recruitment. So why keeping these people in this place when maybe you don't have enough officers to pay them? When you know they can be productive in the farmland, you know they can be productive if you establish good industries or create an enabling environment for private sector to participate. And you are working as partners. You are bringing them workforce. They will pay the workforce for you. These are things, they're simple, but just like I said, if you have a willing mind, a committed person, somebody who's passionate about giving his best to the society at all times, not talking about what he wants to amass. I want to give my best. I just saw in the paper today, the president, the vice president never increased their assets. But go and check. Many people who have been given this opportunity 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you see their assets is 10 times what they've had before they came. So what is the problem?
So you are saying you will be incorruptible?
I'm coming in there to give my best to my people, and the emphasis is not me. If it's God is going to bless me by enriching me, it is after I've satisfied the populace. That is my dream. That is what I've always done. And those who know me know that this is what I do.
And you will declare your asset also?
If you want me to declare my asset now, because you are giving governor, I'm going to declare it now. And I'll declare it at the end of the program.
I think the program will be coming to an end soonest. So if you will be declaring the asset, this is the time.
What do you want to know about my assets?
What you had before you became the NFF president and what you have now?
It is very simple. Very simple. I had a retirement, and everybody knew what I did. And everybody knew that I didn't add more. Everybody who knew me, and it was a public matter, because when we left NFF, it was a real
the tug of war.
And people who knew it knew that they were shocked that I was saying that I spend my money for Nigeria.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
I hope we can end on this note. I hope you've been able to get lots of clarification and you've been able to get some probable solutions to some of the laws in Kogi State. And I think my guest has been very objective in telling us some good things that has been done by the administration and also telling us some things he would also wish to do in the administration if he has the chance. In the studio with me has been the former president of the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF. I'm very sure all young Nigerians would know what NFF is all about. He is also a governorship aspirant in the forthcoming gubernatorial election in Kogi State. I remain your host, Aibokar Said Plato. And I am very sure you've had a very wonderful time with me today. Do not forget, this is the Nexus providing clarity. It's a place where we provide clarity with the intent of providing solution. I'm very sure I will see you in my next episode. Thank you very much. The Nexus providing clarity.